100 days hidden in a Minecraft base. Inside this mountain is a base untouched, never seen, and out of the thousands of players online, this is considered to be the #1 base. But today, I follow a base member inside and attempt to survive within their walls by rigging their farms, building a bunker, and most importantly, not getting caught. By the way, YouTube has this thing where I can click on any one of my videos and see who subscribed while watching. So if 15 of you subscribe right now, I'll be like, yo. Day 1, I was camped out watching this player closely. He had been flying on the slime machine for a while now, but it was now headed for an entrance. When he got closer though, it somehow activated a redstone door. I had no clue what was down that tunnel, but I decided to wait. On day 2, I saw him coming back. I took off my armor and drank an invisible potion. He passed without noticing me, but the door closed behind him. He was far enough away, so I went closer and spotted an observer block. It was probably used to detect the flying machine to open the door. So I tried placing dirt, and sure enough, it opened. However, after breaking the dirt, it closed right before I made it. I needed to somehow go faster. Luckily in my inventory, I had an elytra and rockets. This time, I made it through. However, I couldn't make too much noise, because as I got closer to the base, I saw another player inside. I took some steps back to eat, and I realized they couldn't hear me, so this was my chance. I placed a block in my boat, so I could break it and get up, leaving no evidence behind. I quickly realized that this wasn't like any base I've seen before, and the purpose of it seemed pretty straightforward. Build the empire, get rich, and get more rich. I looked up and the player was now right above me. I wanted to see what was up there, but I couldn't risk making any noise. If I was caught, I risked losing out on possibly my biggest raid yet. Suddenly, he came down. I went behind the bookshelves, but the book and the enchanting table opened for me. I couldn't tell if Red noticed that, but I couldn't stay any longer. I tried hopping down, but then... For a second, I thought he heard me, but out of pure luck, Red was somehow on the other side and didn't hear a sound. On day 3, I went to my stash to grab potion materials, ender pearls, and even chorus fruit, since this was gonna be nothing like my previous raids. I opened the door and flew in, but when I tried hopping up, I almost immediately got spotted. I couldn't place the boat if he was there, so once he left, I got up and broke the block. I saw Jaren's name tag in a contraption below, but I couldn't waste time. I wanted to make my own bunker within their base, right under their noses. This meant I needed to search for a spot, but all around me were these automatic farms. This one produced beeswax, and this one seemed to farm pumpkins. However, I couldn't go further, since the dude was blocking the way, and suddenly, he ran right by me. I went higher up and saw even more crazy farms. I had no clue how they built this all, but on day 4, with nobody around, I began to mine out the bunker. I wanted to go far, but it wasn't long before I spotted a name tag. I couldn't mine with him near, and before I could block it off, he came over and saw it. I didn't know if my cover was blown, except he simply covered it up and went back to his thing. Maybe he thought his base mate did it, but regardless, I had to keep searching. On day 5, I drank another invisible potion and found even more farms. No matter where I went, this place was filled with them. But then I heard a chest open. It was Jaren, and I didn't even notice him nearby. On day 6, I had an idea. Typically, I'd have to mine far to make sure the players couldn't hear me. But with this giant cactus farm in the corner, I could build the bunker right here in the wall. On day 7, I mined out an area to place my necessities. But I also mined through the floor to hide the loot I stole from the last few bases. On day 8, I made a new room to make a map of the base. I do this every time, but because of how complex this one was, I had no clue how to organize it. but I didn't notice my invisibility ran out. I quickly drank the potion, but I didn't know if anyone saw me. However, I looked through the glass and saw Jaren was just far enough away to not render any name tags. On day 9, I went out into the base. I wanted to read more of the signs on the first level to really understand what was going on here. When I got close, I saw someone right below me and decided to check the chest in the meantime. There wasn't anything crazy, but there was a chest with some diamonds in it. It was really tempting to steal, but he was right below me and it was only 11. Eventually, red came up and it was my chance to see. The first 2 boards appeared to be about the trades and had day counters for, I guess, when the trades would happen. The last board, however, was an enemies list, with one of the names being mine. I have raided their bases in the past and left one of them completely decimated, so I don't think they will show mercy if they catch me now. Finally, red dropped down, and I took this chance to go find some crazy farms. On day 10, I found a chest of pumpkins, melons, and honey. But then I found something strange. A chest of ominous potions, which honestly was not worth taking. On day 11 though, I heard the ladder being used. Redunes was on the same level as me, but I thought it was good until my invisibility ran out. I needed to stay crouched or else my entire mission would fail. Somehow, I was just out of range, and Redunes didn't notice a thing. When he was out of sight, I quickly drank a potion and healed from the close call. On day 12, I came back to the base and decided it needed some renovations. By day 13, it was looking pretty good. But let's get serious for a second. What made this base different was that it wasn't for storing stuff, but to produce thousands of items. So, on day 14, I crafted some hoppers and created a working model of how I would leech off their farms forever. On day 15, I went out to put it into action. I looked around for a farm to rig and spotted the sugarcane farm. The chests were right next to the wall, so I could easily hide my contraptions. I was practically finished on day 16, but then I saw Redunes right through the wall. I heard him open some chests, but luckily he didn't find my hoppers. And on day 17, I was able to start mining. On day 18, I successfully connected the tunnel to my base. I knew this was kind of risky, especially if Red found the hoppers, so I used some dirt to disguise the tunnel back to my base. On day 19, I made the bunker even prettier. On day 20, I lit the tunnels with torches and checked how much I made from the farms. It was already pretty full, but I knew there were much better farms out there. So on day 21, I went back out to search. I kept looking around, and eventually on day 22, I spotted a new chest added to the storage, which was filled with cobwebs. Kind of useless, but I decided to keep some for decoration. On day 23, I decided it was time to see what was at the top of the base. I began scaling the levels fast, until eventually, I saw Jaren's name tag. Except he was above the roof. There was no ladder or staircase up further. So I found a spot in the wall and began to mine up. This was pretty risky, but I thought there was some crazy room for me to see. However, I mined a block and saw the sky. It was definitely not a room because Jaren was just standing on top of the mountain. I was really curious though what he was up to, so I waited around. On day 24, I was replenishing my invisibility when suddenly 2 players arrived. And I would have just voiced over this, but I didn't realize they had mics and were in the voice chat.
Let's just make
bro, hurry. Drop us the items, bro.
Can you drop it already, bro?
Hurry. Show me what you guys got, and then I'll drop them.
We have, bro.
What are you talking about? What we got?
Items, bro.
And I think Jaren realized they weren't here to trade.
Are you brain dead?
Bro.
Oh my gosh. Okay, you guys are just
No,
wasting my
come
You
time.
guys
back,
drop
bro.
the
Get
stuff.
back here, bro.
No, you do not need to do that.
I quickly followed after, just in case someone died.
Why do we gotta be like this?
Bro, you're probably using a voice changer because you're like 12 or something. I mean, 'cause
Bro,
you're 13
this
or
is my
something.
voice, bro. Why are you making fun of me, bro?
Honestly, that's even worse. I
Alright,
see why you
bro.
gotta beg for items, bro.
You don't need to
No
make
one will
fun of us
employ you
now,
like
yeah.
that.
Yeah, you're genuinely just being rude, bro.
You're the one that instigated this on my house.
I mean, you can just take all your items, I guess.
I can't even understand what you're saying.
I low-key realized I needed Jared alive if I wanted more profit. So I took matters into my own hands.
Dude, where are you, Michelle?
You almost got away from y'all. You get
You're
stuck in
rude.
your own cobwebs? Oh my
Bro,
god.
Buzzman, how? Someone's here, bro.
2-year-olds.
I can't get out, bro. Yeah, I see stupid dudes.
I guess I underestimated how good they were, because the kid instantly folded when I put on my armor.
Good stuff, bro. Hey.
However, I took this as a chance to strike a deal with them, which would come in handy for later. On day 25, I checked when Jared's next trade would be and kept it in mind for later. On day 26, I looked at how much the farms made and I forgot it was still full. I didn't have extra storage in my bunker, which I should have made sooner. On day 27, I got distracted and started designing something that would basically be my get out of jail free card. The concept was that I would take an ender pearl and throw it. But by using soul sanded water, it creates a bubble elevator to stop the pearl from landing. I guess I was preparing for close calls like earlier, since something like this would have been pretty useful to escape with. On day 29, I was going to find more farms to rid, but I almost broke the block with Red right outside of my bunker. He soon left, but I don't think the pearl machine would have saved me. I eventually found what appeared to be a lava farm. I tried to get it working and started spamming the buckets, which filled my inventory instantly with lava. I also found a cobblestone farm, which didn't seem very useful, especially when the base was literally in a mountain. On day 30, I discovered a chorus fruit farm, but it didn't look like any of the things were growing. So I tried taking matters into my own hands and began manually fixing it. But I didn't realize that Red was right by, and again, had no clue I was there. At this rate, if I stayed this careless, I would get caught fast. On day 31, I remembered my goal of rigging a farm and actually found something useful. It was a mushroom farm, which was a key ingredient in making invisibility potions. On day 32, I finished the storage room and connected it to the base, or bunker. On day 33, I was staying productive and kept searching, but I noticed someone coming back with a flying machine. It was Red, and he was taking something from the minecart. I decided to go down when he left, and inside of the chest were a ton of good stuff. To any normal player, this would have been the easiest robbery of their life. But I was in here for the long game, and I wasn't about to throw that away for some basic loot. On day 34, I was back at the bunker and wanted to document the new things I found. But man, I really didn't know how to put anything on this map. On day 35, I used the items I stole to add some new features to the bunker. I finished on day 36, and honestly, this one's shaping out to be one of the better bunkers. Trust me. On day 37, I was about to leave when suddenly Red was coming in my direction. I didn't risk running by him, even while he was doing whatever this was. However, my invisibility was going to run out. I quickly got on the stairs and realized my only hope was mining into the wall. I literally blocked it off just as he ran by. On day 38, I finally saw his name disappear. I slowly mined out, but at this point, I had a feeling they knew something was up. On day 39, I expanded the base even more. I had no intentions of leaving since I was making so much from their farms, and it wasn't like I had a home to go back to or anyone I really needed to take care of. On day 40, I was back to exploring and made a pretty good find. Hidden between the farms was an automatic potion brewer. I've seen better in previous raids, but this one was stacked with all different types of potions. I figured I'd take some since I'd need these for later. On day 41, I spotted Jaren, which reminded me that tomorrow was the day of the trade. I quickly followed him up to the top and went through my secret tunnel. I waited until day 42 when the player had arrived.
Yo, do you have a mic? Oh, okay. Honestly, I think it's better that way. Okay,
But they had no clue that just before today, I hired the bandits to set pearl stasises and prepared them for this.
hey, sweet. Well, thank you. Well, here you go. I hope you have a good day on the...
We got him! Get Jaren! Get Jaren! Get Jaren!
again, bro. Thing two.
Bro!
Man, I
What
go
is this,
teleporting.
bro?
I go teleporting.
Little did they know, I rigged their stasis chambers because I knew either they would kill me or I would get them first.
Me too, bro. Yo, let me out, bro. Yo, what are you doing?
Yo, I'll let you guys go right now. I'll let you guys go right now if you just drop me some items.
Don't do it. Don't do it, bro. Don't do it.
Okay. Yeah, you guys are dead.
No,
You guys are dead, buddy. You, oh, what the hell?
No.
Yeah. Oh my god. Oh, that could have been so bad. Oh, all right, bet. On day 44, I went back into the base like nothing happened. But before you feel bad, they literally attacked an innocent player. And I'm just happy to help the server. On day 45, I saw some new trades added to the board, despite recent events. They probably just thought that this was a rough spot for them, and they would get through it. But little did they know, they're dealing with me. On day 46, I made my base even prettier. On day 47, I was back to business, making some hoppers and stuff. I mean, if I was able to rig their entire base without them knowing, that would be pretty funny. On day 48, farms. Yeah, look at me rig this. Yep, I'm doing that. Yep, look how pretty this is. Man, I'm so good at this. Good work, Spoke. Okay. On day 50, I finished the connecting tunnel to the bunker, which took a bit longer than I wanted. So I decided to see how much I stole in a single day. Somehow, it was 0. I figured I just misplaced a hopper or something, so I went back into the base. However, when I got there, on day 51, Red was there. I thought maybe he found it, but before I could check, he started heading down. I followed Red until I watched him place a new sign on the trading board. Finally, he simply walked back up through the base. On day 52, I could finally figure out the problem. Turns out all I did was place this hopper in the wrong direction. I literally don't remember doing that either, so who knows. On day 53, I remembered another trade was coming up. And as expected, on day 54, Jaren was back and seemed to be grabbing some items. On day 55, I was waiting to follow Jaren up to the top, but instead, he started running down one of the tunnels. I followed closely behind, of course, but I didn't realize that this was intentional. Once we got to the top, there was another player already waiting.
Yo, hello, bro.
I mean, maybe Red just warned Jaren, but I was ready, though, to pull off my next trick.
There's 2 of you?
Oh, no, I don't... Wait, who is this? Is this guy with you?
No, I don't know this person.
Hello.
What are you trying to pull here?
I'm here to assist. What do you mean you're here to assist? I don't know who you are. Why are you crouching like you know me?
To them, I was muted and just some random dude. Have them
Just drop
right.
Okay, this guy's
Just
trying
drop.
to rob us, man.
Okay.
Can I drop him? Thank you.
That'll be of course, my friend.
Bart Steve is trying to
You
kill
are
me.
trash, bro.
Bart Steve is trying to kill me. But then I realized he probably didn't have any elytra. And I was right. Goodbye, Bart Steve. I was really bummed out that I didn't get a single thing from all of that. So I wanted to make up for it and search for some loot. On day 50, day 50, what was day 58. But the only weird thing I found was that the chest filled with ominous bottles now had some iron axes and even totems. I don't know, I didn't really care. On day 59, I went back to renovating my bunker. At this point, I should be making building videos instead. I mean, I could go places with skills like this. On day 60, I did a roundup check of the rigged chests. It took a while to get back and forth between them though, since it was day 61, and I just made it to the last chest. However, this wouldn't stop me from rigging more farms. On day 62, I was looking around for the most optimal one. I saw Jaren running around in the docking area and decided it was safe to go higher up. Somehow, the farm that stood out to me the most was the chicken farm. And no, it wasn't for food, but instead for eggs. And man, there was a lot of eggs. On day 63, I practically had the hoppers completely set up. I've done this so much to the point where I can just space out, which could be a problem if someone came by. I also realized I was becoming almost too comfortable in their base, and that I was still a target, I mean. On day 64, everything was pretty much connected, but the time it took to travel from one farm to another was stupid. So on day 65, I came up with a genius concept. One room, a bunch of chests, and hoppers leading all the items here. It took me day 66 to mine it all out, and day 67. This was all I did. I didn't have a lot of hoppers left either, and I felt like wasting them on a pumpkin or sugarcane farm would be useless. So, on day 68, I set out with the mission of finding the best farm. I feel like this was always my goal, but I kept getting distracted. Speaking of which, Red had a trade coming up. I noticed he always did his trades away from the base, probably at these coordinates, but I didn't want him to go there. I wanted him to go to these coordinates. So on day 69, I watched Red do his thing, and when he looked at the sign, he didn't think a thing and booted up the flying machine. Throughout day 70, I followed it, but I had to stay on the ground for most of it since flying or using rockets would be pretty risky. On day 71, he finally stopped the machine, exactly above where I wanted him. Because below that snow was hopper minecarts that would steal any item instantly when dropped. One big problem though, the player I asked to be bait for this wasn't moving. And when I got closer, I realized he wasn't even at his computer.
How's it going, JPEX? Hello? Bruh. Hello? We're supposed to do a trade now.
On day 73, JPEX was nowhere near his computer.
Bro, it's already daytime. Are you serious?
Well, Red was kind enough to leave him a sign.
Well, never trade with irons.
And honestly, he was kind of right. I flew back to the base on day 74. Not very pleased with how things were going, but remember, I'm gonna win no matter what, don't worry. On day 75, I got back to the mission of finding the best farm. I scouted out the area and saw that Jaren was still down there running around. It just seemed like he was fussing with beacons, so I couldn't really care. On day 76, I found a sniffer egg something type farm. I decided on day 77 to rig it anyways though, cause it looked pretty cool. Day 78, I finished connecting it all. Day 79, I had some good news though, because Jaren's next trade was in 2 days. But this time, I had a flawless idea. On day 80, I got ready at the top of the mountain and brought a fishing rod. I hate fishing, but if used correctly, you don't have to fish. You can fish items like this instead. But I don't think I tested this properly since it really wasn't working how I intended it, or how I thought it would. And once day 81 rolled around, the trade had begun, and look, I could not be bothered looking like an idiot, so I just put the rod away. On day 82, I was kind of having a crisis. I mean, I really expected to get a lot more out of this base than I was, and my only successful time ruining a trade was when I outplayed some bandits. and they were stupid. I tried to get my mind off of things on day 83 by doing some therapeutic building. I remember the most important part of dealing with stress like this was by facing it head on and directly coming to terms with what you can handle and what you can't. On day 84, I looked at the map and realized I was a failure. I took this one step further on day 85 when I checked the chest and finally realized some stupid pumpkins aren't gonna save me from the horrible decisions I've made. On day 86, I tried to get some fresh air, which meant also going out into the base looking for more farms, but it didn't even matter. On day 87, I found a chorus fruit farm, but I was out of hoppers. The one goal I had for this raid was falling apart. I'm sorry if you weren't expecting me to end up like this near the end, but look, getting rich has its highs and lows. So on day 88, I started outright stealing from the chest. I mean, bro, they're not gonna use some stupid whatever this is. Day 99, day 89. That took me way too many tries. We're having a blast in their base. So on day 90, I decided to check out what Jaren's been up to, just for fun. But then, that is a raid bar. And trust me, I was freaking out for a good reason. I had to pause freaking out though, so I could avoid getting seen by Jaren. But I've been doing this spiel every video, and I'll say it again. Raids never happen on this server, since they need villagers, and all the villagers are dead. And stop asking me about zombie villagers, since dog, have you seen any spawn recently? I mean, I haven't. On day 92, I needed to see how that happened, because if anything, that raid bar meant they somehow had a villager. So once Jaren left on day 93, I dropped down. I was met with an absurd looking machine. There was all sorts of redstone thingies, but inside of the chest was loot specifically dropped from raids. I looked up and saw Jaren was still up there. So I got right onto the beacons and equipped my armor since I was going in. At first, I just tried pushing buttons. When that didn't work, I tried crawling and doing it, but I just looked stupid until it opened. I squeezed through the boats and started to get dragged down. Finally, I made it to the bottom. In a typical raid farm, the villager would be at the top, but this one seemed to work in reverse, and the villager was most likely below me. However, on day 94, it shoved me back up, and I somehow got stuck. I wanted to mine out, but I saw Jaren's name tag in the distance. My respiration helmet was giving me time, but I was losing breath fast. So I looked at my inventory and remembered the chorus fruit I stole. Except I accidentally figured out I could swim down if I pressed myself against the wall. I managed to break the glass and escape. On day 95, I left the area because if a villager was actually down there, stealing it would literally make me one of the richest players. On day 96, I started clearing out room for the materials. I needed a lot of blocks, iron ingots for rails, and gold for power rails. I wasn't sure how much I needed, so I just tried grabbing as much as possible. I also picked up my shulker with materials for TNT, just in case I needed to make a scene. On day 97, I had my closest moment with death, and began my dive into the farm. Using the trick I learned, I was able to reach the bottom fast. I mined under the magma, and there was a hole that revealed why I knew I was gonna win, bro. I have failed stealing a villager twice, and the third time's the charm. Except, I forgot the redstone to power the rails. I had some back at the bunker, so I just had to pillar up real quick. I would be right back. However, on day 98, the Omens had other plans. The base was attacked. The farms, the walls, and practically everything was covered in TNT. But then I saw it. My secret entrance was exposed, and I spotted a ton of player name tags inside of my bunker. They were probably just bandits, but I still had no chance. I literally left all of my gear inside. However, I still had the base's items to use. I grabbed some pearls, I stole a sword, I crafted a full set of diamond armor and enchanted it with whatever I could get. I also still had my TNT shulker, which gave me a genius idea. I found an ender chest where I equipped my bow and my only piece of netherite armor. I was now ready to take back what was mine with just one trap.
Bro. Dang, bro. This base is kind of crazy. Yes, bro. Oh my gosh, it was so good. Oh my god, bro. This is why you shouldn't even be judging music, bro. Nah, say it. Say it. You shouldn't be judging music. Ah!
Yeah, you're a crash out, bro.
See ya.
Right?
See ya.
Do you think when I kill people, I should have like a producer tag? Like, hey yo,
Yeah.
what? And then I kill someone?
What would mine be, bro? It'd be
Yeah,
like, you just got slimed on.
Dude, there's netherite in here.
Yeah, the person left this in their base, bro.
Oh, bet.
Oh, they left invisibility
Easy
too.
money, bro. Oh.
Yo, share the wealth,
Hey.
y'all. Wait, here, I have a diamond chestplate for someone if they want to trade helmet. Yeah. Nice.
Yo, we're actually gonna rank up after this.
Dude, genuinely gonna rank up, bro.
Did you watch the Minecraft movie, bro?
Dude! Yes, I did.
Dude, watch me come from above, bro. Watch me come from above. Look at this.
Oh. Chicken Jackie. That was good, that was good. Yeah. Hey, who is this? Hey,
Where is that?
Hello, bro. Oh,
What?
back up, back up, back. Yo,
We took your
chill.
stuff. We took
hold
your
up.
stuff and raided your base.
I know, I get that, all right? Oh, wait, did you?
Just-
Oh, you did take my stuff. Oh, okay. Oh, you're wearing it. All right. That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, what you gonna do about it?
Look, I think we can make a good team here. Look, I was teamed with some of your old bandits, and we had a good team together.
Wait,
Right?
who?
It was like chicken something and buzz
Oh,
guy.
was it Jimmy?
It was what?
You know
Jimmy.
who, bro.
Jimmy? I have never met a
You know
Jimmy
what?
before.
All right, bro. What is bro doing here?
I've never
this
met a
dude-
Jimmy
this dude
before.
killed Jimmy. This dude killed Jimmy.
I didn't get who is Jimmy?
All
I
right,
killed
bro.
Buzzman02 and Chicken Jockey.
This is about to
Oh
get
my
very,
god, bro.
very sad.
Things are not gonna look up for you, pal.
All right,
right.
bro. Look, I don't know about this, Brett, but I'm down to fight. I'm down to
What
fight.
did you do with Jimmy? What did you do with Jimmy?
I
What did
didn't
you
do
do?
anything with Jimmy. Come on, bruh.
Get him,
Get him, bro. Get him. Hey, back up.
He's
back
trying
up,
to
back up.
cobweb.
Hey, we're
Yo.
doing great, bro. We're doing great, boy.
Yeah, I
Beat
bet.
us, bro.
Oh my god. Wait, there's one over there. I gotta kill them. I didn't have an arrow. I thought I messed it up. Oh my god. Yo, where's that one guy? It doesn't matter. I just blew up. Oh no. Wait, where's the stuff? Oh no, I need the stuff. Oh shoot. I think it blew up all their items. Are you kidding me, bro? Oh no, bro! Oh no! Oh, they are not gonna be happy, bruh. And of course, I waited till day 100 when they arrived at the base.
Oh no! Wait, this is blown up. Oh, it's just a god.
Hold on, there's just hold on. Oh my god.
Bro, he's following me.
All right, Jaren, what's your last words?
Oh, shut up.
And then I left like the goat I am. Sadly, I'm broke now, but don't worry. If I made my grand comeback, that video should have popped up by now. But if not, you can see this video that started it all. Anyways, goodbye.
See ya.